Surface area and volumes for spheres. The surface area formula, 4 pi r squared. The only thing you need is the radius. Maybe I should go back. What is a sphere, real quick? 3D circle. Yeah, a ball. The only thing you need for it is the radius. Does that make sense? Okay, so see if you can find the surface area in terms of pi of that sphere. Smartboard's crazy. Paige, I've got your folder of lessons pulled up. Any ideas? 256 pi inches squared? Yeah. Any questions there? I realized you were sneezing. I'm sorry. Huh? No, he did. I didn't realize he was. Yes, this. Yeah, this is the 4/3 formula. 4/3 pi r cubed. Again, all you need is your radius. Do you have to learn these two formulas? Yes, you're going to need them for calculus. We'll actually learn at some point how to get to that formula. And then we'll learn how the volume and the surface area formulas are related. I don't think so. I mean, like, if you look at it now, you would think it's really complicated. But, well, once you learn calculus, once you learn the calculus, it's not as hard. But, like, if I showed it to you now, you'd think it's hard because you have no idea what is happening in that problem. You use calculus, you derive it. Alright, so the 4/3, the one with the 3, and the r cubed, those are in the same formula. So 4 pi r squared, 4/3 pi r cubed. Does that make sense? The two 3's are in the same formula? Okay, looking at this sphere, it wants us to find the volume of the sphere. Yes, that is a 16M. Do what? What'd you say, Brian? Yes. All right, someone want to go write the volume? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant meters.
that make sense? If you use the pi button, you get 17,157.28. So if you use the pi button or if you use 3.14, you'll be a little bit off, depending on which way the book does it. I think they use the pi button. Although last year, I think they used 3.14. I use pi. I put the pi, like I use pi. I don't put 3.14. I know in junior high, like they make you do 3.14. But the reason, they want you to understand what what that button is that you're pressing. Does that make sense? They want you to know pi is 3.14. Yeah, that too, because you had to, yeah. Well, now they're not so bad. All right, so we've got a sphere. What would be half of a sphere? No. What is it called? A what? Hemisphere. A hemisphere is half of a sphere, not a semisphere. Someone said that in first hour too. A semisphere? No, it's a hemisphere. And then a quarter is just a quarter. Like half of a half. Anyway, so this one says to find the volume and surface area of a quarter of a sphere. Someone want to go work out the volume one? Where did the 4.9 come from? It's a fourth of the diameter. Is that what you're supposed to do to find the quarter of a sphere? How would you find the actual volume of the sphere? You do 4/3 pi and then what? Times what? Which is? Yeah. So it'd be a 9. And then how would you find a quarter of the volume? Yeah. Does that make sense? And so what should you get? Y'all know? It doesn't specify where to round it. Yeah, if you want to leave it in terms of pi, that's fine. 81 pi, right? No. 81 times 9, 243. Any other questions? Okay. Someone want to go do the surface area? Ben, one of you go. I think I'm just going to start saying Ben instead of Ben. Ben, go. You can't both write on the smartboard at the same time, unfortunately. Okay. Well, my first year of teaching, I had a smartboard that you could write on, like two people could write at the same time.
We can do that. Okay. But sometimes it kind of like messed up.
I loved it. It worked really well. So I could have two math problems. I could pull up the 2 pages, and I could have 2 math problems going at the same time. So like, it didn't take as long.
Oh yeah, sure. So there you go. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna just leave it as what else just came that came from the semi-circus day?
Okay, do you agree with Ben? And Ben. Did y'all get 254? Okay. Do you realize what Ben did?
He added the sharp pairs of semi-circus.
Okay, so that's a semicircle, right? And then this is a fourth of it. I know it's a one-dimensional, but the bottom of the semicircle has area, right? And this side has area, right? Okay.
The hemisphere.
Oops. What is this thing? A circle. And then if we cut it in half, it's half of a circle, right? And then what is left over here? Another half. Do you see that? You got a half here and then a half in this area. So that's where the 9 squared pi r squared from the circle, half circle here and here. There was a total circle there and there. Have a good weekend. Does that make sense? You see where that comes from? No, you were right. Yes. So like if you had a hemisphere, to do the surface area, you do half of the normal 4 pi r squared, but then you'd have to add this, because that's also surface area. Does that make sense? Yeah. If you have a cylinder and then this on top, and you're supposed to find the total surface area, would you add that circle right here? No, because it's like not part of the surface area. They're touching. Does that make sense? So if you have a quarter, you have to be careful that you add the half of a circle here and the half of the circle there. A total circle, basically.
cylinder just like this?
No, cylinders are completely.
What's it called if it's still like it's a circle and then it's a circle and a small
It's a.
circle?
I don't know how to say the word very well. Frustum, frustrum.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a number.
It's where you take that and then you erase this part of it. But we'll get to that later in the year. But any questions on why it's 508.93 and not the 250, whatever it was?
So the 250 is just
It's just like the quarter is just this surface area,
not the part underneath.
not this part or that part. Does that make sense? Okay. Last question. The two-step question. Literary Rally. Social review. Literary Rally. Permission slip. That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes the words in my head get jumbled up. Ugh. Do what, Brian? Oh, yeah. All right, Brian, go ahead and go show your work for this one.
Wait later. So I think they want to get that small. Sometimes I get it. Since you're right, that's my life in your fault.
For some reason I like wrote it.
You didn't just do 11.14?
I did like 11.14084607.
That's what I did. Do you agree? Did you use 11.14? Okay, that's why. It's not a really big difference because we're looking at like almost 5,800. So that's not a very big difference. And so if you use slightly different numbers, it seems like a bigger difference, but we're looking at a really big number. Well, not really big, but we're looking at a big number. So it doesn't make as much of a difference if you're off by like 10 or 20 or 30 or whatever. Any other questions on these? Okay, surface area formula for a sphere. 4 pi r squared. The volume. 4/3 pi r cubed. You have to know those two. Yes, you have to learn them. We will learn in calculus where they come from. We'll learn
They came from dead people.
eventually.